Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is David Schluter, and I am going to be bringing to you this incredibly powerful business of the 21st century presentation. We are going to be talking about how you can have a lot more money in your lives, how you can have a lot more happiness in your lives, how you can have a lot more success and abundance in your lives. We're going to be discussing all of these things as I bring you this powerful teaching seminar and opportunity tonight. I know you are going to want to stay tuned because we are going to be talking about the three biggest pitfalls to happiness, success, and abundance that people face in life today. We're going to cover how you can avoid being trapped by these things on the way to your greatest success ever, and how to climb out of these if you've already fallen in, and how you can rocket to success instead of winding up addicted to debt and mediocrity like 95% of the other people out there in the world today. I'm going to show you how you can avoid that grim fate that most people are going to step right into without even realizing it. And I'm going to reveal to you the most powerful success vehicle I know of that's unlike anything you've ever seen before, that'll teleport you to the abundant success in life that you desire. And I'm going to reveal to you the simplest, most powerful success concept ever that will give you the power to become unstoppable and virtually guarantee your success in life. You're going to want to stay tuned for this life-changing content. So because you're going to give me your time, you're going to give me your trust, I am going to bring you some life-changing value today. But the first thing I need from everyone is I need you to be willing to just open your mind for tonight's presentation. You know, you're just going to suspend judgment for a little while and just listen to the words and the things that I have to say. Let them sink into your heart. So if I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ask you for your trust, or for you to open up to me a little bit, I think it's only fair that I do the same to you and tell you a little bit about myself first. My background has primarily been what I like to call hard work, and I'm going to tell you right now that the guys that work the hardest in this world do not make the most amount of money. I found that out the hard way. As a matter of fact, by 2000, about mid-2000s, I wound up finding myself just burned out, tired, broke, jaded. I was a single father. I had more debt than I thought I could ever get out of, and I was desperately overdue for a life change. And I was a little bit baffled because I had followed the plan for success, at least the one that I knew of, in the pursuit of the American dream, and I'd wound up empty. And at that point, I realized that there was a problem, and that there was a problem was either me or it was the system, or worse yet, there was a problem with both. So here's what I decided to do, and it was really a drastic change. I started studying principles of personal and business success. And there's a saying out there that says that when students ready, the teacher will appear. And that's exactly what happened for me, because I'd like to say I was hungry. I was so hungry for success that I just became a success sponge. Before I knew it, I was digesting book after book, tape after tape, CDs. I was going to some awesome seminars. And a whole new world began really to open up to me as I began to feed myself. A whole new mental diet. This whole new world opened up to me. I learned about the four great wealth mountains, and I learned about strategies to summit them, the power of mastermind groups and teams, and how no one gets rich without tools and systems that can bring you leverage, exponential leverage that can move great wealth, great amounts of energy, and accomplish great things. And I learned about the part that I played in the whole process, how I could either help that process or how I could hinder that process by what I was willing to believe, what I was willing to do, and who I was willing to become. And I couldn't help from all this education and everything I was getting from just bubbling over as I began to apply it into my life. I was radiating success. I was attracting unbelievable opportunities to myself. And that really was what started me on the path to mentoring and teaching others, which eventually wound up in me writing a book on the subject, marketing that ebook online, building a business around it online, and eventually marketing other products and services as well. And at that time, I felt like I had really found my passion and my purpose in life. I was right on target, being the best person I'd ever been, more successful than ever, happier than ever, and the sky was absolutely the limit for me. And then it happened. Disaster took me by surprise. And it bankrupted me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And maybe you've been there. But I went from the best that I'd ever been, greatest success, being the greatest person, living with the greatest amount of faith and belief ever, really radiating success, to rock bottom in a short amount of time. I mean, I slammed into the bottom, and it just rocked every portion of my being. I was questioning everything. My belief system was shattered. I wanted to know what I'd done wrong, what I'd missed, what I'd overlooked, and why was life just so cruel. And it really reminded me of a movie that was made in the 80s. Maybe you saw it. It was called Top Gun. It had Tom Cruise as a fighter pilot in it. And in the movie, in a training exercise, they wind up flying through the jet wash of another plane. They end up in a flat spin. They're headed out to sea. They've got to eject. They're barely able to eject out of the plane. And Maverick's co-pilot, Goose, his best friend in the world, is sitting right behind him. He gets ejected right into the canopy of the plane, and it ends up killing him. And it just rocks Maverick. He's riddled with guilt, and he's filled with questions, and no matter what he tries, he just can't seem to re-engage. He's trying to find his way back, but he just can't. He's ready to quit. He's ready to give up and just turn in his wings. But before he does that, he decides to seek out the advice of a mentor. He goes to the commander of Viper's house and he asks him for some advice. And Viper tells him, look, kid, if you fly fighter planes for long enough, something like this is eventually going to happen. It's our job up there to push it in life, and it's every pilot's responsibility to evaluate, to learn from what's happened, to move on and grow. You see, Maverick had a confidence problem, and until he had really evaluated, learned, and moved on, and started to grow again, he was stuck. He was stuck like I was, or like maybe some of you are right now also. You see, Maverick couldn't re-engage what he was best at. He couldn't pursue his passions. He couldn't be the best that he can be until he could let go of the past, let go of the hurt and the pain, the mistakes and the fear holding him back, keeping him from moving forward, and grow again. Maybe it's time for some of you to do the same. I don't know. Well, in the movie, it didn't take Maverick, Tom Cruise, too long to get out of the state that he was in. But then again, he was, hammering along the sky at Mach 5 and he had people shooting missiles at him. I didn't have that luxury. It took me considerably longer. But my point is this. It caused me to be very cautious, self-searching, and careful about putting myself into another opportunity, about pushing the limits again, about risking, or about willing just to even be the best that I could be again, let alone endorsing an opportunity and getting behind it. But here's what I've found. I have found over time and over research and after searching for a long spell of time, an awesome company, an awesome opportunity and people that exhibit servant leadership worthy of my endorsement. And that's something that I'm very excited about. Because I can guarantee you that some of the people listening to this presentation right now are going to grasp this. They're going to do just that. They're going to skyrocket to success and generate extraordinary wealth as a result of what I'm going to present to you in this seminar. So you're going to want to pay close attention, because some of you are about to have a major awakening in your life. And what I mean by that is this. This is not the same world I was born into, nor is it the same world that your mother was born into. What we were trained, how we were trained to function in the world that we were born into, that world doesn't exist anymore. How we were trained to think, behave, and act in school or by others or by society is no longer a relevant model. And shortly you're going to understand why I say this. You see, worldwide, there is a new addiction to debt. The whole system is built on it, and people have become completely sucked in by it. Even worse yet, there's a worldwide addiction out there to mediocrity. Never have we been so pacified to become so little and to achieve so little, to be far less than we could become in our lives, far less than our potential, far less than previous generations strove for. And it's killing us. Let me read this to you. The Empire of Debt by D. Hahn. Money for nothing. Own a home for no money down. Do not pay for your appliances until 2012. This is the new American dream, and for the last few years, millions have been giddily living it. But much of the ever-expanding wealth is an illusory facade, masking a teetering tower of debt, the greatest the world has ever seen. It will collapse in a disaster of our own making. Take a look at the debt graph on the right side of the screen from 1940, and this only goes through 1999. It has skyrocketed absolutely out of control. This trend towards mediocrity and debt must end. Because where has all this led us ultimately? Well, here's some more statistics for you. 95% of people, by the time they reach retirement age or towards the end of their lives, are one check away from disaster. Either that or they're already dependent on some form of social assistance. We're becoming the greatest social welfare nation in the world. Most people end their lives unfulfilled, never having lived up to the potential that they had. They have unfulfilled hopes, wishes, and dreams, and now have resentments instead of joy and memories that they will take to the grave with them. They do it all over differently if they only knew how. Only now it's too late. This is not only sad and tragic, it's completely avoidable. We live in the greatest economic nation in the history of the world. It isn't a lack of opportunity that the problem is. We live in a time of the greatest opportunities the world has ever known, and if you don't believe that, you've been listening to the wrong people, and I suggest it's time you get some new, more abundant friends. I mean, the world is changing, yes, absolutely, but it's still the easiest. This is still the easiest nation in the world to get rich in. Just ask any successful entrepreneur. The problem is too many people out there are still operating with an old school mindset, the byproduct of a bygone era that just doesn't work anymore. It's no longer safe, it's no longer sane, it's no longer sound, and it's no longer secure. Folks, it's time for something new. It's time for a change. It's time for something great, a new paradigm, a shift not only in our consciousness, but also in our actions. That's what I'm here trying to bring about. You don't want to be one of the 95% out there with the blinders on, all on the same train, all headed for the same grim destination and common experience. Now, I'm not here to harp on doom and gloom scenarios for your life. That's not my purpose. What I'm here to do is help you bring some abundance in through the front doors of your life and help you make a change in your world day by day. I'm here to help you get your wings and learn how to fly. I don't have the solution for the whole world's problems, just for the few who will understand and resonate with the message that I'm here presenting you with right now. Each of you then must become the change that you wish to see in the world. Each of you then must become the light for others. Each one of you must become one of the 5%ers in this world and then make your difference. So if it isn't a lack of opportunity that holds people back, then what is it? And folks, I'm not here to offend anyone. That is not my intention at all. But I am here to wake people up and to inspire you, to get you to take action, to get you to make changes for the better in your life. And so, would you agree that to wake people up, sometimes you got to shake them up a little first? I mean, is that okay? Because, listen, you may think that I'm not talking to you, but I am. Listen, if you're not doing things significantly different from 95% of the people out there today, then you're on the same train as they are. It's just that simple. You may not think so, but then neither did they until they arrived. People are arriving there right now who never saw it coming. Good, decent people who played by all the rules, followed the system of success of the time. People close to me who lost big time and now can't afford to live a long life because they're going to outlive their money. People ready to retire who now can't. People who followed the rules and strategies of an industrial age system and now they're wiped out. Listen, you may still have a great job. Your IRA may be intact. You may have a great benefits package still. And if you do, that's great. But don't bet your health, your family, your future, your livelihood on any corporation or employer today. Not without a plan B. You see, things are changing out there, folks. And you don't want to be the last one to know. Listen, we'll be talking about a plan B and the need for a paradigm shift, a plan for the times.